I recently saw a story about a young mom who was out drinking with her friends at one of her friends' apartments one night when she got into her car and she drove home. And when she got home, she realized that something was missing. She didn't have her 2-year-old son with her. She remembered taking her 2-year-old son to her friend's apartment. She remembered strapping her 2-year-old son into the car seat on her way out the door. She remembered putting the car seat with the son in it on top of the car as she got the car ready to put the car seat in. But I guess she never really remembered putting the car seat in the seat. So she went out to the garage to see if it was still on top of the car, and it wasn't. So she got back into her vehicle and she started retracing her steps. And when she was just about back to her friend's apartment, she saw a whole bunch of police cars on the street. They had found her son. He had fallen off the car in the car seat, fully strapped in, when she started driving away, and he was fine. Not a scratch on him. That's a good ending for that story. But it doesn't change the fact that mom did something really, really dumb. It doesn't change the fact that mom was more absorbed with herself than she was with her son. And being absorbed with yourself is often a pretty dangerous thing. In fact, that's the real reason that Moses wasn't allowed into the Promised Land. You might remember that the Israelites were complaining about being thirsty in the desert, and God told Moses and Aaron to honor me by going to that rock and telling it to produce water, but that's not exactly what happened. Moses and Aaron came back to the Israelites and they said, "Listen, you rebels, must we bring you water from this rock?" And then they hit the rock twice, boom, boom, whoosh, and out came the water. And what was wrong with that? Listen to their words. Must we bring you water from the rock? They didn't even mention God. Their goal wasn't to honor God in front of the Israelites. Their goal was to point out how all the Israelites complaining affected we. Think about the last time you felt disappointed. The last time life didn't quite go the way that you wanted. Did you spend more time thinking about God or yourself? Were you more eager to point others to the God who can bring water from a rock and can probably handle whatever situation happens to be going on in your life? Or were you more eager to make people see just how sad and upset you are because something didn't go the way that you wanted? Moses hitting the rock wasn't the real reason that he wasn't allowed into the Promised Land. It was because he was more absorbed with himself than he was with God, which is always a mistake, not just because of the potential consequences, but also because of what we miss when we take our attention off of God. And that is the truth, that even when Jesus was strapped down to a cross and ended up with more than a few scratches, he was still entirely absorbed with loving me and loving you. Isaiah 53 is speaking of Jesus when it says this: "He was pierced for our transgressions. He was crushed for our iniquities. The punishment that brought us peace was upon him, and by his wounds we are healed." We are healed in all the most important ways, because Jesus was obsessed with loving me and you, yesterday, tomorrow, and today.